And is there anything else that we should add, Casey, in terms of the services?
So right now we have victim advocates and therapists and counselors on site. Those services will continue at the Family Assistance Center.
Put the phone down.
We will have victim advocates. We will have the victim compensation program there. Most importantly, it's going to be a very supportive center for our victims and our families, but also witnesses. If you can share the information and let people know that if there are people who are out in the world who are missing loved ones, can't get a hold of them, that they should go to the American Red Cross, to the Family Assistance Center, and we have information that we can take with them to be able to help them locate their family members. We've also gotten some questions about personal property, which is currently being held, and so we can also help them get their property back as soon as they can.
Can you tell us how many people are inside right now and what's going on inside right now?
We do have victims and family members present inside the county building. We're assisting them right now in the Newton Center. They've been trickling in. I would say we have between 50 and 75 people right now that we're assisting. I think it's very important to let you know that county behavioral health has been activated early on, just like victim services, and we have therapists here, licensed clinicians, who are meeting with those families too.
What can you talk about the counseling that will happen from now on?
Can you tell us what you mean? These are people who
your phone's in the shot. Get it out of the shot.
Not people physically.
I'm also live.
Well, back up.
So when we say victims, people who are eligible to receive services, that's going to be the family members of victims, witnesses who were present, and people who were impacted by the shooting. So there might be people who were in the building, who witnessed it, family members who are looking for loved ones. We will assist everybody that we can.
And how many family members do you know who have been reunited at this point?
I don't have that information at this time.
Do you have how many people were present at the time when it happened?
Yes, I have bilingual, bicultural staff on site speaking Spanish and Vietnamese. We're also working to get all of our materials translated, and we're hoping to get a native Tagalog speaker on site as well.
And what is it? How many people were on site?
The Red Cross is located at 2371 North 1st Street in San Jose.
Casey, can you just talk about how difficult it's been in there to see what everyone's going through and describe the mood?
I think the mood for any situation like this is a little bit what DA Rosen and Supervisor Chavez said. There's a lot of grief and a lot of uncertainty. There's also a lot of community support. Unfortunately, this is not the first time that our community has been through something like this. This isn't the first time that my team has done something like this. We're honored to provide the support anytime that it's needed, and we're seeing family members and loved ones support each other, support people that they don't even know. So there's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of pain, but also a lot of support.
And one thing I think that's just important to recognize is there's a lot of efforts that we make as a community, as a DA's office, to reduce gun violence. We have a special team in our office that looks at gun violence restraining orders as ways of removing guns from the hands of individuals who are going through some kind of crisis to prevent mass shootings like this. And one thing I can say is over the last couple of years, we have gone from doing very few gun violence restraining orders to doing hundreds of gun violence restraining orders. And I'm very certain that these restraining orders have helped to save countless lives and stop countless mass shootings. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to stop every mass shooting, but we do everything we can to try to remove the guns from the hands of people that are mentally unstable or are intent on harming other individuals, as is apparently the case here.
I know it's early, but are you aware of any red flag in this situation, a red flag law?
We have a red flag law in California. We use it aggressively and vigorously in the DA's office to remove the hands from perpetrators. I don't have any information as to whether anyone called the police about this individual and requested a gun violence restraining order. I don't believe that happened in this case. And so these are some of the efforts that we make to try to reduce this violence so we don't have a situation like we've had today. Once we have a situation like today, then with Casey Halcone and our DA Victim Services, we activate that. We work with the Red Cross, County Behavioral Health to try to provide the best services that we can to the victims of this tragedy. And we also recognize that the tragedy doesn't end today and the trauma doesn't end today. It goes on for months and years and really for many people's lifetimes, and we will be there to support them during that.
Can you tell us how many people were in the building when that happened?
I can't tell you how many people were in the building. Several people have been murdered, and that's all I can tell you at this time.
We saw therapy dogs going inside as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that, the counseling that's going on inside right now? What's the action?
Yes, so in addition to human counselors that speak every language that's necessary, we also have support dogs and therapy dogs. In the DA's office, we're very fortunate to have Percy, a black Labrador who provides comfort services to victims of crime and their families. And Percy's accompanied many victims to court and is very well received by victims and their families, and he's working right now.
I'm sorry, when you initially came out, what did you announce? Because I just got here.
What I had said is that we're providing services to victims and witnesses behind me in terms of the trauma, and at noon today, we will open up a family assistance center on North First Street at the Red Cross building to provide further services for individuals there. Okay?
And
Okay.
your name and title? Just
I'm Jeff Rosen, the district attorney.
Say
Okay?
that again, please.
I'm Jeff Rosen, the district attorney.
Jeff and spelling?
Yes, my name is
You've been listening to a live news conference. That is Santa Clara County District Attorney Jeff Rosen providing an update on some of the efforts that the DA's office now helping those families in need. A reunification center has been set up for the folks who need to get in contact with their family members. That has been set up at 70 West Heading at the Isaac Newton Room. There at that location. A phone number that is also being available for folks to call if you cannot get to that location to try and check on your loved ones. That number 408-299-2311.